What's up, guys? It's News with Noah, and this week we're talking about Star Wars Battlefront. So the beta's been up for a couple days now. Colin and I have been enjoying it because it's been pretty fun. But the main thing I want to cover is its matchmaking system. It's a little different than the traditional server browser that Battlefield 4, Hardline, and Battlefield 3 have used. Design director Nicholas Frigas said that they changed it to a matchmaking search-based system, more like Halo or Call of Duty or Tomb Raider, things like that. Other usually shooter-based multiplayer games, GTA, things like that, to accommodate the more general audience that Star Wars has. They want to be able to make it to where a Star Wars fan who doesn't usually play Battlefield-style games can still join in and won't see this intimidating server list before them and wonder what the fuck they're supposed to do. To help appease the people who have been playing Battlefield and do prefer the server's browser system, they are still allowing you to choose your map and of course choose your game type. So you still get some freedom there, and I don't know right now if it's going to be closed loops for the maps. Like if you select that map, you just get a constant rotation of that map, or if you just you get your first game on that map and then it might switch and you'll have to quit out of that game and research and do all that. But I guess we're going to find that out when the game actually comes out. So pretty excited for that. Stay tuned for some Battlefront videos too from me and Colin. On to the next thing. Up is Far Cry Primal and its announcement. So this is going to be the newest iteration of the Far Cry series, and it's set to take place in a thawed valley during the end of the Ice Age, which means no guns, no wingsuits, no cars, no nothing. It is you as a tribal hunter named Takar trying to bring up your own tribe in this very unforgiving world. Now, you're thinking, that sounds awesome, and it does. It sounds like it's going to be really fun. However, that being said, it doesn't seem like it's going to be anything different than what we've played with Far Cry before. It's going to be kill these animals, take out the enemy camp without alerting any war drums or alarms or anything that they might have instead of a electrical alarm. Repel this enemy attack. Like, it's going to be it's still going to be the same feeling of gameplay. You just won't have guns. And if you're like me, who used a bow a lot of your time playing through, which I'm sure a lot of people did, then it's not going to be anything different from what you've already played. And also, it sounds like it's really just going to be very similar to the Shangri-La sequences that we saw in Far Cry 4. So, what is really the real catch of this game? Probably its time period, then. This whole thawing out of the Ice Age means that all the animals are going to be bigger and stronger. You're gonna have more like you're gonna have spear fights, club fights. You're gonna have your bow, things like that. Like, it's going to be a lot more visceral and barbaric style of gameplay. So it still should be fun, but if you're looking for something that's different, then I don't think this is the right place. It sounds like it's just gonna be a lot prettier models and no guns. And that's really the big difference. The only difference between Far Cry 3 and Far Cry 4 was prettier environment, more guns. So while it's a formula that keeps getting them games sold, it's not a formula that's not gonna bring them a huge chunk of the market from out of nowhere. So it's set to come out February 23rd, 2016, and I guess that's when we'll decide if it's worth it or not. On to our main story. Our main story tonight is microtransactions. So last week we covered the Deus Ex pre-order debacle on how us as a gaming community have been very visibly upset with tendencies for developers to receive a ton of pre-orders only to ship broken games. But that's only one of the problems. The other problems is microtransactions. Those little 99-cent DLCs that have been lining game content more and more often. Now, there are two arguments against these. One is that the items in these DLCs, like a shirt, an armor, hat, a color scheme, little single items, are pointless. They should just be included in the base game or in large expansion DLC, and us as the players can get more each time and more bang for our buck. The other argument is that a lot of the time game companies have these little DLCs as a way to get in-game currency so that you can pay real money to get this currency that you could earn by playing the game. Now, sometimes they do this in such a way that the currency is so hard to get in-game, you pretty much feel forced to buy it with real money, almost strong-arming the player into it. And this is a big problem among game companies. And that brings me to my first two games to point at, the being Metal Gear Solid and Tomb Raider. Now, Metal Gear Solid currently does not have any microtransactions, but most players feel it's only a matter of time. See, Metal Gear Solid has Phantom Pain specifically has a multiplayer option in which players can build their own forward operating bases and improve them and attack other bases, kind of like a Metal Gear Clash of Clans, which is not surprising considering Konami announced last month that they were switching to a more mobile gaming focus. Now, like I said, as of right now, you can't buy any of the Metal Gear currency, gross military product, with real currency, but most people are watching the DLCs, waiting for it to happen. So we'll see what happens there. The next one I said was Tomb Raider. Now, Tomb Raider will definitely have microtransactions coming. It's released in November. Now, what these microtransactions are for are a new mechanic called expedition cards. These are single-use or permanent expedition cards that alter free roam gameplay. So no multiplayer, no single player. These cards are like extra resources for your single use, like 50 resource points, 50 ammo, things like that. And the other permanent ones are things like big head mode, no resource healing, cheat codes essentially. But you can purchase these with in-game currency or with regular currency. Is that acceptable? That's up for us to decide. I mean, it doesn't alter any multiplayer and it doesn't alter any single player. It's just free roam. It's just for fucking around in the game. So you would think, well, if the player really, I said guy, but if the guy, girl, hermaphrodite, transsexual, monkey, dolphin, whatever's playing the game, if the player wants to spend their money on that DLC, is it, it's up to them. It's their money. It's not like they're buying a way to get ahead of everybody else in multiplayer, and they're not buying their achievements. So, do you think that's okay for microtransactions? Is there any acceptable way to do microtransactions? You can leave your answers down in the comment. I'd like to remind you all also that Colin and I are doing a stretch goal. If you can get us to 125 subscribers by the end of this year, December 31st, 11:59 seconds, last second of this year, we will shave our pretty heads bald. And we'll start doing our webcam coverage on our games too, so you can actually see your bullets so that y'all get something that's worth subscribing for, along with all of our amazing content, our news, our Let's Plays. Colin's supposedly getting our podcast out soon, but I have no fucking clue because he's an idiot. He's a lazy bum. Yeah, I said it. You heard me say it. Go tell him. But that's all I got this week, so we'll see y'all next time. Bye. Hey, y'all just watched the video. Thanks for doing that. And if you'd like to see more videos, you can subscribe by clicking right over here. And you can watch another specific video right here. So yeah, you can subscribe to my right, and you can watch a video to my left, and there's just some jackass waving his arms around in the center. Bye.